What's up, Instagram? What's up, Facebook? So I had a surprise this morning. I don't know. I was intuitively going with it. So the whole reason that I'm doing this fast is, again, to get my pH of my saliva and my urine to match at neutral. Okay, so there's like acidic and there's alkaline, so I want to be right in the middle. And from what I understood at the Human Garage when I was listening, they're like, if those two are going good, that means your adrenals and your liver function are going good. So that's the whole reason that I'm doing this thing, because I tested roughly last Saturday, and it came back super acidic. So I was like, damn, I got to course correct. And the best thing I knew how to detox the body was fasting. But at the same time, I was like, damn, everyone seems to be missing something, including myself, because every time I'm fasting, like day 2 and 3, I start craving shit I wouldn't normally eat when I'm just on point, right? So it's like, yeah, I'm in keto right now, Amy. I believe in keto. Yeah. And so I tried to kick myself out of keto after the 7-day fast. That was the goal. And so I crushed a lot of wild rice. So the whole reason I had all these foods right there is because they are actually on Bob Bukowski's detox for the liver plan. So basically I just took a real big fucking shot at my liver since it's been deprocessed the whole time. So for those of you who don't know, I did a 7-day fast, and I don't know, I dropped 26 pounds, and that's pretty dope. So, and it's all been inflammation. I feel incredible. My circadian rhythm is resetting itself, like very interesting. I get rather exhausted around 3 or 4, not like worn out exhausted. It's just like, I know it's time to start winding down. And so at that point, I can make sure I wrap up my meetings. I'm getting home, getting de-stressed, stuff like that. So it's been a lot of stuff that has implemented this result at the end of like me feeling like, I'm down 50 pounds. It feels like that. So the goal is, I think 170 is what I think is achievable. And that's just dropping more inflammation, because there's still a little bit of that. And that's what I'm going after. And it takes some time. Repatterning my breathing has been another one. Taping my mouth shut, going over my nose. Having a magnesium salt bath roughly every morning and or evening. And so I would take a shower, and I structure my water, which is huge too. And if you guys don't have any idea what's looking into structured water, it's a big fucking deal. So I'm glad that you guys can dive deeper into that. There's a documentary on YouTube. It's been around since they've been really talking about it for a while. Over in Europe and Japan and Russia, they're way ahead of what we're at. And so that has been a huge factor on my results, because so what I go for is the time that I weighed myself was actually in the evening. So I would weigh myself in the evening because I figured that was my healthiest weight of I'm fully hydrated. I'm not going for a number on the scale. I'm trying to stay hydrated so much as to where I didn't lose weight. But I didn't weigh myself all week, right? It was just kind of intuitive. And so I would just wake up and just crush water and just kind of go off of what I was feeling like. And it just ended up being probably roughly around 2.5 gallons of really high quality fucking water. Like the best I could possibly get, just flushing my freaking liver and kidneys and trying to, get them working. So 9.5 if I'm acidic, I can kind of really rush that through. And I add greens, which these are all the micronutrients. So I have a greens powder, and I do that 3 times a day. I do fish oil, I do that 3 times a day, but roughly a teaspoon to a tablespoon. And then I have micronutrients, liposomal, which are B complex, glutathione, and then I have a bitters supplement. It's a black box detox I can get, and really good stuff. So Sunday through Friday it was straight fast. Saturday I went and got a colonic, which was dope, because not only do you get cleared out, which there was a lot of liver bile, which was dope, how that was just like, because it feels like you're having this, like towards the fast, you're pooping a lot of pee, right? So it's just like, you're like, all right, I know I'm flushing. You start seeing green stuff, that's bile going through. I'm supplementing to make sure that's not happening, like I'm not depleting all that stuff. And in fact, the company that I partnered with, Bucked Up, they're coming out with a really dope supplement. Like Jose's on point. So it's really assisting the pancreas. So it's gonna be cool. And yeah, it's ended up getting colonic. And so what I found out, I was learning from this guy, he's an awesome dude. And he was saying that basically it also hydrates the entire lymphatic system, and you're getting massive hydration in the colon, which is like, oh, perfect. And so I don't know if you guys remember, but if I learned, absorption is so much greater through the butthole from Steve-O on Jackass. So, pound it if you're with me there. So it's like I learned that piece of information and it stuck with me forever because he did like a beer bong up his butt and he got like super drunk, right? So yeah, Steve-O, man. Anyway, yeah, going through that, get a colonic, that was amazing. And so I was able to just drink enough water to wake up the next morning and be slightly dehydrated. So the whole slightly dehydrated part was because I got to go do a 3-hour float in a tank and just like swamp everything. And I was able to work on my breathing to where I talked about it yesterday in a video. And it was just like, I was able to get every part of my system in tune and aligned and create these really deep vacuums of TVA crunch where you pull your belly button to your spine and expand your rib cage as hard as possible and then like squeezing your glutes. And this was towards the end after I was like massively hydrated from the outside in because you're sitting in a float tank for 3 hours. So at the same time I had a speaker. I put binaural beats in the water. So technically I'm structuring my water so it's going to create better communication between my system and the water, and I'm structuring the water in my system. And then I'm also having binaural beats, so it actually muffles a lot of the road noises that are out. So that was pretty fucking cool. And because every time I floated prior, it was like I could still feel those vibrations. And so wanted to get rid of that. And listening to binaural beats was dope. Working on my breath was dope. Today, it was like I had so many carbs yesterday, like 500 grams. And there's also like a lot of almond milk that I didn't include on there. And so it was like a feast, and I just ate till I was really full. It wasn't to where I was like forcing anything in. It was just like, okay, I am full, I'm going to stop eating. And that was about where I weighed in on all my food. And so at that point, like I had actually like probably about 3 ounces of alcohol as well, which didn't change my liver pH or my saliva or urine pH at all, which is awesome. So that helped with digestion. That's actually why I was using it. And so I actually used an HCl supplement as well. And that day felt really good until the end. I felt like really heavy. And I was like, okay, this is kind of what I expected. I got like a little bit of brain fog. And at the same time, I was going for that insulin kind of crash. I was trying to boot myself out of keto. So that's kind of what I was going for. So for a minute, yeah, maybe I was out of keto. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is I actually had Paul Carter and Mike T. Nelson and Rob DeBoer all chime in, and Michael Transilla talk about carb utilization. It's interesting because we look at cool shit. I mean, that was awesome that happened. So I'm actually going to go for almost a repeat and see what that happens this whole week. I'm just going to fine tune the process a little bit more and see what happens because like this is cool shit. I love using my body as an example for weird shit to happen to N of 1, right? So what was cool is I went through and created with Cassim Hansen of N1 Training the dual field program that we did, and I was able to go through that where you match your training to your macronutrient intake. So more metabolic training requires more carbs, so we went all the way up to 50% carbs, and then neurological training doesn't require as much carbs, so we basically went keto for the most part during those phases, and we went back and forth and matched training and stimulus appropriate with nutrition. And so that was really cool to be a part of and go through that while creating with Cassim. So that definitely has a huge factor on how this is being done. But what I'm figuring out, I'm creating a PDF right now to where a lot of people, if they put themselves in a relatively good state to where they can develop a meditation 10 minutes in the morning, meditating 10 minutes in the evening, and maybe meditation 10 minutes in the afternoon, and be able to schedule stressful events and learn how to breathe, anyone can do a 7-day fast very good, right? So to where it's just going to be not pulling micronutrients from the system, but replenishing them in full without having to eat any food, like actually chew on anything. So that's just what I'm doing to myself, and there's a theory that I have there, and I've never felt more in tune. There's some really awesome stuff for me happening today. I spent all day basically at Water Wellness. Man, they're so awesome. It was such a cool place to see just amazing example of people working and killing it together. They're so happy over there. It was just cool to sit back. And I had a business partner come up, and I'm also talking to them about moving forward about some stuff, because like it's the most important factor in the world right now to me is water, and getting people to get that level. Because like I've been giving water or bringing water to my parents, and so it's a 9.5 charged water, and hooking it up, and my dad's arthritis is going away, his Diet Coke stuff's going away, my mom's getting cleaned out, she's feeling better. So it's like so cool. I was able to be like the number one client and important in my life, my parents, where they were with water. So that was really a cool experience. And yeah, overall that was probably the coolest experience other than the flow of the whole week, and that's kind of what makes it all worth it. And so me pushing this for another week has a lot to do with me shedding the fact that I don't feel like I'm being bullied anymore. So I grew up completely bullied. I put on this armor to protect myself, and like I realize now I don't need to be this big, and like this is my choice, right? So but at the same time, like I like aesthetics, I like the way I look, I love doing backflips at the same time. So I'm like my goals are putting myself into around 170 pounds. It's like amazing if I could get there, but I still want to keep the size that I have, but I'll be less inflamed. I won't have to work out or eat as much to keep this size. And while I loved that in my past, like that was so fun, and I learned so much, and I have so many mechanical advantages and I have a brain that works so well because of the people I learned from. It's like, man, it's really cool to be able to take that with me and move it forward in my own life versus really take on clients. Because like I kind of almost officially retire from actually coaching at a massive level. Like I have 5 clients, I already have them all. It's all I want. I'm putting out these PDFs because that's a quicker way and a better way for me to get my message, and it removes me from the process so you can make it your own. That is the whole point. I want you to like, here's a blueprint, but still like it's your life, so you need to kind of pick and pull, make it your own. Create some groups that'll talk about this shit too, because everyone's opinion matters. And so it's like, I did this for me, and we're just gonna be like pretty cool on all that sharing. And if you guys want to share now, that's cool too. But the fast challenge will be on. That'll be really cool. And like I said, I partnered with Bucked Up, and so we're gonna start spreading that word. Because what's super dope is I've been using these pharmaceutical grade, beautiful active B complex. You can get on my Amazon, but they're, you know, the really expensive kind. And because like for me, like I understand like I'm just better than that GTR when it comes to an operating machine, so I'm gonna treat it much better. So it was like, Justin Sloan just texted me, but sorry, that was the pause. So totally forgot where I was. Yep, so we're gonna do some big things is basically what I'm getting at. Just totally lost space because I got a text message. I gotta love this phone. Yes, ADD, HD kind of problems. So I was able to really find a vibe with myself, and I'm pushing this a little further. I have a PDF coming out, so it's easier for me to get that word out, and you guys can make it your own. That's kind of where I'm repeating at. And honestly, like, it'll be cool. Anyone can really successfully do a fast. There's a lot of people fasting on ketones. Prove It has a pretty cool reboot thing going on. I got to give it to them. Like, that's my opinion. And like, they got some cool stuff. Like if you add really, really good water to that, and you add a lot more minerals, salts first thing in the morning, stuff like that, I think you'll be really good off. Like, it's a good start, you know, 3 hours, but like the goal is a week. And what's amazing that I'm finding out about this is it's resetting my palate. It's like all I ate last night was salmon, just straight up off the Traeger grill. It's just like amazing. So I've never really eaten fish before, and that was the first time I cooked fish, but I just knew it would go after my liver. I had gotten rid of all my bad habits. Oh, and that's where I was going, is I'm losing this weight because I don't need the armor at all, and I can get down to 170 as well. And yeah, just getting rid of all the bad habits that I had and shedding out what's important. So if a little bit of muscle mass happens and I lose it, I'm cool with that. But at the same time, I'm going to go get a DEXA scan on Tuesday and see what does happen to muscle. But at the same time, like I'm more vascular and I feel better than ever and I look better than ever, and I'm like blown away with how my mental performance is. And I was able to spend all day at Water Wellness and make some really awesome connections. And at the same time, like, when I got home, man, I just felt like I got hit by a freight train. It's just like, Buh! But at the same time, it's like me putting everything I have into every single conversation like I never have before. Like, and like stem-free, substance-free, nothing going through my system other than really good water and micronutrients. And like, I've never been more in flow than today. So something really cool. I mean, right? So I got a cool PDF coming out. That's going to be sick. And then I have another one coming out with a keto program, so you guys can actually get in and train in keto. So those are two of the PDFs that I'm going to come out with really soon, all with Bucked Up, because they're awesome and they're creating a lifestyle line. And they're actually, there we go. So I'm using very good, high quality medical grade supplements, and from like Nutridyne, which you get on Amazon. But what's happening is Bucked Up is creating them, and they're going to be less expensive than what they're selling them for. So like the exact copies, and liposomal lines too, so you can do a liver detox. And honestly, the easiest way that I found out we can test this is pH strips from like Vitamin Shop. Amazon has them. And then test your liver or your saliva and your urine, and then see where those are at. That's the easiest way to figure out how your liver and adrenals are running, and then make the choice from there. There's a lot of different protocols. Like, I'm not saying mine's the one you want to go. Mine's very it's intense. I mean, there's a 3-day option, there's a 7-day option, but at the same time, like, you gotta be on your P's and Q's. This is like I would like to call it a spiritual awakening kind of shit. So it's like, yeah, so if I'm gonna do an ayahuasca experience, this is where this is all leading to. I'm looking at what ayahuasca is requiring from the system. So you go over there, you take ayahuasca, and you purge. You either shit or you puke like crazy, and you have, the gut technically does some healing, a lot of BDNF goes through the roof. So it's like, you're basically purging any bad old food that may be stuck in there that you haven't before, kind of like getting a colonic, but this time going after, you know, the stomach and whatnot. And that's requiring a lot of hydration and minerals. But like, people are running around drinking coconut water, which is a good start, but at the same time, like, I'm thinking like IV therapy and colonic kind of thing. So go in 7 days fasted, even longer, because you want to prepare for this sacred and spiritual experience. So go 7 days, 14 days. I'm pushing a month with just one meal on the weekends, on Sundays. And so then you would go into that experience, and technically the ayahuasca would be your meal, and then you'd have IV therapy that day and the next day while you have the day off. So ideally the ceremonies go every other day. So every other day you make sure you're hyperhydrating, you're meditating, you're resting, you're just pulling in vitamin D. So this is what my whole goal is, to when I go do ayahuasca, it's going to be really, really, really on point. Because what I found is when you do medicines and you don't have your basics in point, if you're not shooting for that betterment of yourself, and you don't have your P's and Q's, like your hydration, your greens and stuff, it's really hard to make the profound realizations play forward and take action on them. So that was a very interesting way to learn about that stuff. And ever since I've been really on my P's and Q's, I haven't needed any of them, and the water is just taking over at a very violent rate, in a sense. So I did have a chat with one of my friends, and the collective consciousness that is actually raising, and everyone is basically going to experience a psychedelic state here in the next years. So it's like, we don't even need those. We just need to get ourselves in tune, which is hydration and good foods, and making sure everything's agreeing with your gut, making sure your kidneys and organs are lined. And believe me, like, this is just a taste, because the Human Garage has so many more answers that I'm even just completely waiting to understand and hear. And I'm just doing my own work, but to wait to collaborate and understand what's going on at an even deeper level while I go through my own process is gonna be really cool. So I'll be able to bring a really cool message forward as well. And yeah, it's all self-work, and it's really cool. It's the first time I've really been able to do my self-work, and it's really paying off. And thank you everybody for watching. I'm keeping these damn short because it's awesome. And yeah, give me some love, share this video. I'm trying to build a cool brand and pay it forward about hydration. That is my mission for everybody. It's N of 1. I have no judgment if you're like vegetarian or vegan, or like I was talking about in an early video, Arnold Schwarzenegger is vegan. Like, I love everything that man has ever represented, so I'm gonna respect the hell out of that. And if he's doing it for a reason, he's feeling better because of it, that's cool. Like, he's got a lot of smart people he's working with, you know what I mean? And he's smart himself too, so it's like, whatever it is, you're gonna need hydration, and you're gonna need the best of it, and the more you work on it, the less of anything you'll feel attached to. You can go anywhere and do anything, you can eat anything, anyhow you want, liquid, solid, whatever you wanna do, just rotate the type of phases you go through, kind of thing. I don't know, whatever you guys feel adapt to and what you guys learn to. So I'm just using myself as an example. Anyway, everyone else, that was a little ramble at the end. Peace out, I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the amazing conversations, and questions and all that stuff. So I'm going to try to limit my inbox because I need to stay on Facebook more. So I'm going to keep all my interaction to these videos. So if you guys want to keep commenting on the videos, anything you want to send in the message, please send me here. If it's super personal, yes, you can send me a message in the inbox. So please just keep it there. And then I'll do my best to chime in as many times as I can. Take it easy, everybody. Love you all.